The Deer Farming Channel is brought to you by Rafter P Construction. Stick around to learn more about Rafter P's design build process and, of course, the biggest deer in the world. This week, Deer Wildlife Stories is in the East Texas Piney Woods visiting prime acres whitetails. This deer breeding facility is located just outside of Woodville, Texas, in an area that is known as the Piney Woods. You can take one look around it, and it's absolutely beautiful. The pens are big and spacious and got a lot of grass and a lot of pine trees.
My name's Brad Hassig. We're located just outside of Woodville, Texas. Our ranch is Prime Acres Whitetails. Our breeding operation consists of 32 acres of pens. We have around 250 adult deer. We had around 165 fawns this year, and we're bigger than ever.
You know, there's a lot of farms that do not bottle feed their fawns, but they bottle feed a lot of fawns here, and the reason why is to keep them gentle, but also to be able to make sure that they're in great health.
My name is Susanna Husbands. I'm the ranch manager here at Prime Acres. My day-to-day is just to check deer and do herd health, make sure everyone's doing well. So we bottle raise about 60 fawns on average. At least this year we did. We take all the doe fawns for the most part and try to leave as many buck fawns as we can, unless there's a problem with mom or whatever. I've always enjoyed the bottle babies. They're a lot of fun. A lot of work, but they're a lot of fun. Or we put fawns on the bottle mostly because we like them gentle. And when they're gentle, they're a lot easier to work with and more gentle in the pens, and just doing herd health kind of things are a lot easier when they're calm and they're used to you.
All right, so everybody in the industry has heard of Money Talks and Back in Black, and they're both 2-year-old bucks. And we are now in the 2-year-old buck pen, but I don't see either of those guys in here.
No, this is just some random 2-year-olds.
Well, they're nice. I mean, they're like really, really nice. You know, so these deer that are in here now, what is the plan for them? Where are they going?
They'll go as stalkers, you know. We've got all our 2-year-olds sold to one ranch. I mean, it'll just go to improve their genetics and you know, move forward with our yearlings next year. So.
It is the last part of August right now, the 3rd week of August, and as you look at these guys, they're pretty much dried up. But Brad just said something about that very important I want to point out. All the 2-year-olds are sold to one ranch.
Correct.
And what that means is that Brad has one customer that's taking them all. This is really payday for a deer farmer, August, September. This is when guys come out and say, look, I want these deer, so you get your check. Okay.
Right.
And the guy that's buying the deers, did he buy deer last year?
Yes, he did.
Okay,
he
so
bought all my.
What that is he bought all of them last year.
Right.
So that just tells you, I mean, you know, repeat customers are good for business, and it's obviously good for you. So is there, I mean, some of these guys in here are big enough that some breeders would use them for breeders.
Yeah, there's a couple in the next pen of 2-year-olds we're going to that are sold for cover bucks. You know?
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
All right, so these guys, are they out of your embryo program? Were they live covers? Tell me a little bit about them.
A lot of these were heavy, you know, off of AI.
Okay.
And a few covers.
Okay, but so let me ask you, as we go down to the show, we're going to show Money Talks and Back in Black. Were they live covers, or were they AIs, or were they embryos?
They were embryos.
Okay.
ACDC, you know, Money Talks, Back in Black.
Okay, so let's keep that in mind, because the embryo program is really what has set you out in front of a lot of other people.
Correct. I started off as a status herd here in the state of Texas.
Which means?
Animal health program.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we test 100% of our mortalities, and you know, in order for me to get the genetics I wanted, that was the tool I, you know, had to use, was the embryo transfer program, and you know, that's how we got the genetics we wanted in our herd.
Well, the embryo transfer program is working, not just for you, but for lots of people. It's expensive to do, but the results are obvious. So after the break, we're going to go check out some of those 2-year-olds. Now it's time for viewer feedback. All right, this comes to me on Facebook Messenger from a guy by the name of Emmett. If you take a doe that isn't in the North American Deer Registry and you breed it to a buck that is in the registry, what will the pedigree look like? Okay, that's a really good question. Okay, first off, the offspring, whatever you wind up getting out of that, is going to be in the registry, and you got to start somewhere. But the answer to this question, Emmett, is top is going to be completely populated, the bottom's going to be open. You got to start somewhere. The pedigrees that you see that are valuable in the deer industry are ones that are deep and wide. In other words, every one of those holes is filled up, but you got to start somewhere. If you got any questions, that's a great one, Emmett. You can reach out to me on Facebook Messenger or shoot me an email. Deer and Wildlife Stories, we'll be right back. All right, so we're taking a look at some more 2-year-olds in here. These are, it's a different pen, and all these guys are sold to the same guy that bought the last pen of them.
Correct, yep.
Okay, I like that guy right there. He's pretty doggone good. And these are going to be, what, the stalker deer for him?
Yes, they
so
will be.
They're pasture deer, is what we call them, stalker deer, pasture deer. So tell everybody what that means.
Well, I mean, they'll turn them out on their pasture to, you know, improve their genetics. We sell a lot of does for, you know, the same purpose, you know, to go into these higher, you know, higher acreage, high fence operations, you know, just improving their genetics, you know, improving the land value at the same time on their ranch. And
it sure makes, I think, the whole experience when you're looking at bigger deer like these here on a ranch a whole lot better than when you're looking at little deer. I mean, everybody likes to take a look at big deer. So, but again, these right here are basically out of your AI program and not out of the embryo program.
Correct. There's a few offspring in here, a few of these 2-year-olds that were off our embryo transfer program, but most of them were AI.
But the embryo program is really what has moved you forward in the industry. And as we've shown all these 2-year-olds to everybody, I want to tell you all that last year as 1-year-olds, and we filmed all these guys but there was a buck last year that we filmed that was he was a talk of the industry. It's one of the biggest yearlings ever. His name was Money Talks, and tell everybody what happened with him.
Well, we lost him in November with EHD. Real tough loss, you know. We feel fortunate, of course. We still have his brother ACDC, but definitely a tough loss. He was bred, you know, a lot last year. We bred him in many farms throughout the country, you know, bred him.
And we'll show you ACDC here in a little bit. But Money Talks, that was a big loss. And I want to point out too, he lost him to EHD. That's not CWD. Okay,
right.
Let's make sure that you understand that. EHD is a disease that affects wild deer, pen deer, and it's devastating. It really is a bad disease, and it's transmissible through insects. Is how it's transmissible. So, and we're going to show you a buck now. His name is Back in Black, and he's out of the embryo program, and you're going to love him. All right, so take a look at him. There he is. That's Back in Black. Okay, so tell everybody about him. I want to know his pedigree. What did he look like last year? So tell everybody about him.
Of course, he's a blackjack son. That's blackjack horsepower, freeze frame, G-hammer Tasha.
Okay.
Is his pedigree. And
okay, is he a result of embryo?
Yes, yes he is.
Hear that? Embryo. Okay, I mean the AI breeding with semen coming off another farm can only get you so far. But when you start doing the embryo program, you start seeing some giant results real quick. So continue. What did he look like last year?
He was big. I would say he's probably, you know, about average for our yearlings last year. Not you know, anything real extravagant, but he was definitely large.
So as we filmed the yearlings out here, and I only got 50 of them or so, I mean, one of those literally could blow up next year and be another Back in Black.
For sure. We've you know, our yearlings, of course, our genetics are continually improving, you know, and so should have some really good 2-year-olds next year when you come back. So.
All right, so you're looking at Back in Black, and he's a result of the embryo program. We've talked about how that program has allowed Brad to really take a huge head start in the deer industry with some great production on the ground. When we get back from the break, let's head on over to the doe pens. We'll tell people more about the embryo program. All right, so we're in a pen of does right now, and you know, mentioned earlier, Money Talks and Back in Black, and a way that Brad has been able to really jumpstart his program and get ahead of a lot of people that have been breeding for 20 years is through embryos. Okay, and I'm looking at these does in here, and they've got a bunch of fawns. Who are these does? Are these receps or what?
Many of these does come in as embryos, transferred some from farms that are outside the state. Of course, that's the only way we could bring them in. Bring those genetics into our farm was through embryo transfer. And some were embryo transfer from other farms in Texas here.
So these are really high-end does then. I mean, if they came in as embryos. So, you know, Brad has partnerships on deer with lots of people all over, not just Texas, but all over the country. And those partnerships would include getting semen or getting embryos, I guess. And so bringing the embryos in, I mean, those, what it is, the recips, we talk about recips, you've got pens with recips does. They put those embryos in those does, and those does are basically the surrogate mother.
Yeah.
They raise the fawn, but genetically it's not out of them. But these does right here primarily came in as embryos.
Correct, yes.
Wow. All right, so is there anybody in here special?
Yeah, there's, we've got sister to Money Talks and AC/DC in here. We've got sister to Back in Black, you know, several higher end deer.
Well, those sisters maternally, I mean, that's where it's at. Okay, and so the breeding wise on those, the pedigree is going to be strong.
That's what we've tried to, you know, build our foundation on here, is them real, you know, high-end super does, whatever you want to call them.
Because it's the doe pedigrees that are really going to get it done for you, and they've clearly got it done for you.
Oh, for sure, and that's where it all starts, with the female, you know. And I spend several minutes, if not an hour a day, on NADAR, you know, just like a kid in a candy store, you know. I mean, that's where it all starts, and that's the way we built our program. I mean, you can take semen from any deer and put in another deer, you know, but if you don't have the right foundation to begin with, I mean, you're not going to get the results.
Clearly, you've got the results.
Thank you.
All right, so we're in a pen with a bunch of yearlings, but there's a buck in here that obviously not a yearling. Who is that big old guy?
That's Blue Chip.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, he's getting old now. How old is he?
He's 9 years old.
Okay, you know, we've been talking about this embryo program throughout the entire show and how it's moved Brad up. And but Blue Chip is not the result of an embryo program. Tell everybody a little bit about Blue Chip.
Blue Chip, of course, I brought him in. He was at High Roller for you know, almost 8 years, and I actually purchased him to help cover my donors, which of course are my higher end, you know, does, and you know, so that their offspring would be valuable as well, you know, that he covered, you know. So.
Well, he's beautiful. And now he's in here with a bunch of yearlings. Okay, these are all yearlings in here. Which one of these yearlings is your favorite? I mean, there's a bunch of good ones.
I've got a few favorites in here. You know,
and knowing Brad, he's not gonna say that one right there or that one right there. He's gonna hold his cards close. Because I mean, let's face it. Back in Black was just an average yearling last year, and we just showed him to you. And he's an unbelievable 2-year-old now. So anyway, it's no wonder you keep your cards close.
Yeah, and of course I'm all about pedigree, you know. So.
All right, so when we get back from the break, we're going to head to another pen of yearlings. We're going to take a look at a buck named Mr. Legit, and then we'll show you AC/DC. You know, 20 years ago, before the North American Deer Registry even started, and we were getting DNA on deer, you'd look at a doe and you'd say, it's a brown deer. And you had to take the word of whoever you were buying the deer from, that is the mother of so-and-so or the sister, blah, blah, blah. But now there's no doubt. We know exactly who those deer are, thanks to the North American Deer Registry. And it's for that reason that serious deer breeders rely on that tool every single day to make the best decisions possible. So it doesn't matter what business you're in, building the best relationship with your customer is probably paramount, okay? And it's no different in the deer industry. It's for that reason that every single deer farm that we feature on our show, we vet them. We go out and we make sure that we talk to references, people that are happy with dealing with those deer farmers. And so we know when we go to a place like here at Prime Acres, we know that they do more than what they say they're going to do. Their customers are happy because they have impeccable customer service. All right, so here we are with a bunch of other yearlings in here, but there's 2 bucks. I thought you said that we were going to take a look at in here, Mr. Legit and AC/DC. AC/DC's right there. We're not going to show him to you yet. Is that Mr. Legit without antlers?
Yeah, that's him.
Well, you didn't tell me about that.
Yeah.
What happened?
We cut him off about 3 weeks ago.
And you got video of him?
Yeah, we got some video of him.
Okay, good, good. Because I was really looking forward to it. I know a lot of people bred him last year. I know that around TDA and DBC, people were always talking about Mr. Legit. And I mean, that is a beautiful deer right there. But why'd you wind up having to cut him?
He just got real heavy. He's grows the same frame, I mean, every year.
And how old is he?
He's 5 this year.
Yeah, take a look at the difference in body size between him and these yearlings in here. I mean,
Yeah,
he is head and shoulders bigger.
He's a horse for sure.
Okay, so as far as in Nadar, does he have quite a few offspring?
Yeah, he does. He does have quite a
Okay,
few.
and you are selling semen out of him?
Yes, we are.
Okay. You know what? That's something I forgot to ask you throughout this entire program. Give everybody your phone number.
You can reach me at 970-260-8656.
And and we'll have a direct link off of our website over to Prime Acres to contact Brad. And if you're interested in coming on out, I would say the best time to come is going to be August. I mean, you can see what the bucks look like, and the fawns are all on the ground. Wouldn't you think?
You bet.
Probably the best thing to do is come out either the first 2 hours of the morning or the last 2 hours of the evening.
Sure, yeah, that's always the best. July and August are the best, but we get visitors year round, and we welcome people, no matter what time of day it is or what month it is. I mean, we're happy to have folks out and take a look.
And what I would recommend you do is maybe come twice. Come when you're looking at all the deer and you fall in love with these beautiful deer, but come when it's kind of slow. And the reason why is so then Brad's got a chance to sit down and talk to you and go over strategy. I mean, how he's done it here. But okay, we're going to show you AC/DC right now. I mean, take a look at him. So tell everybody about him.
Well, of course, he's a brother to Money Talks. He was, a big yearling last year, and super excited. We're getting a lot of orders for semen on him this year. In fact, we're sold out right now, so we're keeping our fingers crossed for a good collection this fall. But super excited. We bred some of him last year, and there was some bred, of course, of him last year and Money Talks. So.
Okay. All right, so you've got fawns on the ground out of him now.
That's correct.
Okay, so next year, well, when we come back, we'll be able to show people yearlings.
Yes.
Okay,
sure.
and that's when all of a sudden they get proven out. So that's really cool. I mean, clearly, I mean, they were womb brothers. Money Talks and AC/DC were womb brothers.
Correct.
And so it's same genetics, and I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see what he throws out.
Yes. Super excited.
Tell us AC/DC's pedigree.
It is Unforgiven, Freeze Frame, Express, Ranger, Green 8, which is Hardcore sister.
There's no wonder he looks like that.
Yeah.
That's an incredible animal right there. All right, well, it continues to amaze me how much bigger your deer get year after year. I mean, last year I came out here, it's like, whoa. And this year it's like, wow. I mean, they really are doing good. And the embryo program has really put you like way out in front of a lot of the people. And I just appreciate you having us out and being able to share with the people about the value of the embryo program. And folks, if y'all want more information, get a hold of Brad at Prime Acres by giving him a call, or you can get on our website. We have a direct link over there. And if you're watching online and you've got questions or comments, go ahead and post them below. If you're not watching online, head on over to YouTube and click in the Deer Farming channel. And we've got all of our programs running 24/7, where a lot of people just binge watch. They'll watch everybody's shows going back years and years. So anyway, my name is Keith Warren. I appreciate y'all watching, and we'll see you next time. Okay, so you've got property and you're wanting to build. Maybe a barn dominium, maybe deer facilities, or maybe a badass lodge. Well, you've got to check out Rafter P Construction. Rafter P Construction is the leading design build contractor across the state of Texas. Specializing in quality farm and ranch design build projects, Rafter P Construction encourages their customers to be very hands-on, incorporating your input into every aspect of your project with their in-house design teams. The goal of Rafter P Construction is to be your builder for life. Rafter P Construction, they'll be with you every step of the way to build your dream project. All the while, keeping quality and customer satisfaction at the forefront.